Yeah, so basically I'm going to be going over some of the selects that I have from my New York trip recently. I went last week of August to like early September. Weather was nice, super sunny, all that stuff. For this one, everything that you're seeing here, I shot on a Leica M4 with a 35 millimeter Zeiss lens. And this was the first time that I was trying out zone focusing. So I thought everything came out pretty successful. Everything is Kodak Tri-X push to stop. So I rated it at 800 and told the lab just, do your thing. Basically, they develop it for a little bit longer to get, some better tones. And yeah, these are some of my selects. I'm going to run through them and just kind of give you a little bit more context if it sees fit. So the first image we have here was just this lady that was walking around, and it was starting to rain a little bit. So I was trying my best to get, some of that action. I have seen in the past that some people really don't like images of the back of people's heads where, I don't know, I think it's kind of bullshit, to be honest. And whatever you're feeling, do it. A good image is a good image regardless of all the technical stuff. So go crazy, do whatever kind of makes you happy. I know cliches are there, everything has been done already, but obviously feel free to do whatever it is you want. So yeah, I thought this lady looked pretty interesting. It's nothing crazy or groundbreaking, but I just thought this was a good image. And here's another guy just sitting down on his lunch break. One of the coolest things I think about New York is everyone is just kind of like on their own wave, where if they're eating, drinking, smoking a cigarette, smoking a spliff, whatever, they're on the train, they're sitting down, everyone's just living their lives. And because you're not driving everywhere, I feel like these things kind of stand out a little bit more to someone like me that's from LA. So I thought this was pretty interesting. Here's another image of just a kid that was kind of like, he was being held by I think his mom, grandma, something like that. And he was kind of looking around. I always feel weird kind of taking photos of kids, but I thought this was a good scene. I really wish that they were looking straight at me, and I thought I got a frame of that, but I didn't want to waste a bunch of film, on this one scene. And also at the same time, I didn't want to look like a weirdo with the camera. I just felt like as long as I could blend in, it wasn't going to be awkward. So that's the next one. This one, not super successful. I wanted to get like a little bit of blur action, so I shot this at like a 60th of a second. To be honest, it probably was a little too slow, and this person was walking too slow too, so that's why it just like honestly blurry. Still thought it was kind of cool. At least that person that's walking is kind of in focus somewhat, so not too blurry. This is another one where I don't think a blurry image necessarily, but this one I thought was cool. It's the back of this person. I framed them like center, which is typically kind of boring, but I really like the pattern on their dress, and I thought this one looked sick. This is my girlfriend, Nicole. The light was hitting really nice when we were walking through Central Park, so I just, obviously thought it was pretty sick. She doesn't really like her photo taken too much. She likes more of like the candid stuff, so this was a little pose, but I thought because she was wearing lighter clothing and the light was hitting like perfectly where she was standing, and it kind of created like a vignette, I thought this one looked kind of sick. This was at Central Park. I don't know specifically what this lake is called. It was in the middle. We decided to walk from the very bottom all the way to the top. So, and these are just some of the images throughout. This was a fountain I saw. This scene was kind of cool, where we were walking through. All the vendors were selling stuff. There was people playing chess and all of that too. This family was getting, their caricatures painted or whatever. And, the smaller kid kind of looked like they were over it. Maybe they've been sitting there for a couple minutes, but I just felt like this breathed life into the park. The crazy thing for me was like, this was like literally the middle of the park, and I don't know. So we walked it vertically from, the bottom to the top, like I said. And I don't know if it's really easily accessible or it's easily accessed from the side, but this felt like it was in the middle of nowhere because we were walking for like 35, 45 minutes, and we just stumbled across all of these vendors. So it was kind of cool to just see a lot of people collectively just doing random stuff. This one was another one of Nicole. I actually really like this image, and I think she did too. We just took a break in the grass. We kind of just wanted to soak it all in and just kind of see everyone playing with their dogs, family sitting down. It was by Woolman Rink where we had came last time, and we did like ice skating and stuff, which was crazy because the last time we were there, it was dumb cold. And this time, you know, it was a little bit more, it was actually a lot more sunny. So it was like 80, 90 almost. So it's kind of cool. This is another one in Brooklyn, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Looking towards like, you know, Manhattan. And this dude was just walking by. Thought it looked cool. The sun was kind of almost going down. We were waiting for sunset, and I thought it looked kind of cool. This is another one. It was my homie D's son Maverick, and he was just looking at me. This is kind of that last image I was talking about where I really wish the kid was looking directly at me. This was kind of that image, so I thought this one looked kind of sick. So kind of cool. He's kind of grilling me a little bit, but I thought it made for a good image. You see the Domino Sugar building in the back, and normally, like, I feel like that's a pretty touristy thing or a very obvious photo to take, but there was some color stuff that I shot. Excuse me, some color stuff I shot as well, and yeah, I thought it came out pretty sick. You know, D and Mav again, just kind of overlooking. D was, you know, super hype. I hadn't seen him in a long time. He's born and raised in East Brooklyn, and yeah, it's cool to just see him with his little son just kind of cruising around. I liked his fit and stuff too. So, and he was just really hype. We were like trying to skip rocks. I wasn't really that good at it. Maybe I'm better at a lake than in a river, but yeah, I thought this was kind of cool. These are just some more scenes just kind of overlooking the city from, you know, across the river. Labor is a skate shop I'm not even going to pretend like I actually know where this is. Somewhere in New York. It's an OG skate shop. I always go there every time I pull up. I believe this is the owner, and I kind of just always kind of show love. I try to check it out, and I wanted to, you know, stop by, hopefully find a hat or something. I was honestly looking for something that I didn't find, but I ended up getting a tee that was kind of sick. And he noticed that I had a camera. He was like, "Oh, is that film?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got my Leica. I got that thing on me." And I was like, "Yeah, I got some black and white." He asked me to take his portrait, and I was like, "Yeah, for sure." I was like, "I'm going to snap 2 frames just so I could get one portrait and then horizontal." So the next one is the horizontal. I thought these are cool. Honestly, I didn't know him, so if I knew them a little bit better, I feel like this image, if I had him scoot closer to camera, shot it at like maybe 2.8, up close in his face with the 35, I think could have made a more interesting image. But, you know, I still think this was cool. Someone I didn't know, and shot a photo of them, and now it's something I have forever. And then some of these are really just me kind of cruising throughout the city, walking around, train station, just classic stuff. Just me kind of being a tourist, honestly, and just snapping photos of stuff that I've never seen before. Some of these are really cool, or what I think is really cool. Some of them are kind of just whatever, but regardless, you know, one of the best things about being a photographer and having a camera is you have all of these things forever. And the good thing about, you know, shooting film or being able to revisit old images is sometimes this particular image means nothing, but 5-10 years from now, even 3 years from now, 6 months from now, this can mean something completely different, and it has a lot more significance. So it's good to revisit old stuff, because something that you might not be super hyped on can have, you know, a bigger meaning in the future. This one I really like. This is kind of like that blurry image where normally if I would have just shot just a building, feel like it could have looked cool, but because he's out of focus, I framed him in the far left and he's a little bit blurred. It kind of reminds me of the DJ Shadow, I think it's Introducing is the record, where they're in the record store. It's kind of like what I thought in my head, and that was kind of like the inspiration for this. And these are actually a series. I woke up a couple mornings super early at like 6-7 to watch the sunrise, and it was a little cloudy in the morning, so this was the first day that was actually clear. This was like at early 7 a.m. and everyone was just kind of setting up everything and just getting everything set up for the day. So it's just some of the vendors. This is the courthouse. Some people would kind of question what the hell were you thinking? Why did you shoot this photo? This is a famous skate spot in New York. Tyshawn skated it. Everyone skated it. It was famous from like the Cherry Supreme video. And it's cool to just like see certain spots in real life. And especially when you stumble across them randomly. I had no idea that Blubba was across the street too. It's this like hubba spot that's also pretty famous. Dylan Reeder skated it, Brad Cromer, all that stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that. This I thought was kind of interesting. There was just two random hills on the other side of this construction fence. No idea why they were there. Maybe someone was being ratchet, got in a fight, or someone just threw them over. But still kind of weird that two mismatching shoes were just right there. So thought that looked kind of sick. I really like how the fog was like rolling in this morning. So it was kind of, this is what attracted me. And then I just try to frame it so like the, so I was like, it simulated like I was in the street taking a photo. These cars are parked right here. These cars are driving. There was a barrier in front of me, so it kept me safe. But honestly, even if it wasn't there, I would have stood in the street and shot the photo anyway. This one's a little mundane, nothing too crazy. Just thought the image looked cool. I was a little bummed that this one came out crooked. Obviously, I kept the crop from the frames here, but I could easily fix that and no one would ever know. But this was just them setting up. It's like roasted duck in the window. So I always think like these things look really interesting. Normally, this would probably have a bunch of fish, produce, all that stuff on the outside. But because it wasn't set up yet, I thought it looked a little bit more grimy and interesting. This one I like so much that I wanted to make sure to get like a vertical and a horizontal just to have like a few different options. This particular one, I really like this vegetarian restaurant, so I shot it. But I saw this dude on the bike like way down the street, and I had like the split second decision. I was like, oh, it'd be cool if he goes down the street. I'm going to drop my shutter to 1/30th, which would blur him, and I'm just going to stand really still and snap a photo really quick. Luckily, he came by at a good speed because he was kind of cruising at first, and sometimes people swerve out of the way if they see you with the camera or something. So I try to be like super low key, pre-focused, and then, or I was doing zone focusing. So I pre-focused, and then as soon as he was about to pull up, I just like framed, snapped the photo, kept walking. This is honestly one of my favorite shots from that day or from my entire trip. So I thought that was kind of cool. This one, I just really wanted to get some texture. This poster has no significant meaning, but I just thought it looked kind of cool. This one, an unsuccessful one. I really wanted to get the kind of like the blurred motion. Didn't really work out. This one I thought was kind of interesting. It's the back of them, but since they have their fingers crossed, it's kind of like they're wearing black. They're kind of standing out from everything else, and the street was pretty empty. So thought that was cool. There's not many opportunities in New York to kind of get like isolated subjects. So that kind of drew me into this. This one was a miss. I thought it was going to be a lot cooler. It wasn't. Still made a select, but it's all good. Maybe it'll fit somewhere. This one, specifically the fog, I know this photo has probably been taken 1,000 times, probably 1,000,000, honestly. Just personally, I think it's cool, something for the archives. If I were to post this or the final image, I probably would Photoshop this out just because I feel like that's kind of distracting and really random. This one, we went to a Mets game in, I think it's in Queens. Don't quote me on that. And yeah, I just wanted to capture like kind of like the behind the scenes, super touristy and like, dad cam style. But I just thought this was cool. It's something that you don't see every day. One thing that really caught my eye when we were at the stadium is it's right next to LaGuardia, I think. So you see the planes like constantly taking off like every 5 minutes or so. So I thought that was pretty sick, especially when the sun was going down. And there's a way that sunlight hits like a metallic airplane. I don't know if it's actually metallic, but it reflects and it looks really cool. So that's something that I really liked. These are just some like kind of documentary style images I shot of the ballpark, and this was outside of it. I just thought these look cool. This reminded me of like some older like hip hop covers where it's like usually focused on like the train, and sometimes they'll replace like the album name with something like this. I don't know. I thought that looked cool, and it was just interesting to me. Nothing crazy. This was when we were on our train ride to the baseball stadium. Just snapped a few photos of this. There was one successful photo that I had on my last trip to New York that I shot with a T2. I think it used a little bit of fill flash, and it's blurred, but me and Nicole are perfectly kind of like in focus in the middle, and there's this dude kind of looking over to us. I thought that's really cool. It's actually my desktop, so I'll minimize this so you can see it right here. I think this photo is really interesting. I thought maybe I could kind of like emulate that at some point. I tried like 6 or 7 times, didn't get the same image, so it's fine. I think the other one exists and I didn't need to revisit it. Here's another one of this dude. Just, he looked like he was over it, just on the train, living his life. Thought that was kind of cool. Me and Nicole went to Organic Grocer. She was, snapping a selfie. Super cute. I don't know, just kind of cool. This dude's taking a smoke break. Classic kind of New York shot. Maybe I feel like this would be a little bit more interesting if I was kind of like super low. I was shooting from the hip, but at least I framed him, especially for doing zone focusing my first time. There's a lot of chance when it comes to like making sure everything is exposed and making sure that your framing is correct. So there's a couple that I shot where it's like the entire image and then like the bottom is like the tip of someone's head, meaning like I just completely screwed it up. But I thought these came out kind of cool. This is kind of where all the shops are, where like Acme Studios and Carhartt and everything is. This was Central Park again, the middle of Central Park. I thought this one looked kind of like cinematic-esque. Maybe not. I don't know. Thought it was cool. Central Park again. This one has kind of like a funny story. These kids, for some reason, we were sitting on the rocks in Central Park by Woolman Rink. They kept like walking around us. We were just trying to eat food, and these kids were just like cruising around, running around or whatever. And this kid, literally at this moment, like they weren't really saying much. They were like laughing and stuff. But as soon as he crossed me, he was like, yeah. Like I forget what the Justin Bieber song is, but it's funny because me and Nicole really liked that song because honestly, he's got some hits. And it was just like kind of the running like inside joke, but this was like literally that exact moment where that kid just like randomly said that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Got some homies just eating lunch. I think they smoked a spliff after. Kind of cool. Again, I tried to do like the slow shutter, but didn't really work. I tried to frame it with Coney Island, but the shutter speed I think was a little too slow. I really think the flash is what helped last time, so I didn't run any flash on the M4 this time just because I tried to keep the gear really minimal, and I had the Kex light meter on top because the M4 doesn't have a built-in light meter, so I just try to keep it as minimal as possible. These guys were just kind of walking around. I felt like they were movers. New York as fuck. I don't know. I thought it looked kind of cool. Some more New York skyscraper stuff. This dude was FaceTiming someone that was being loud. I thought he looked kind of crazy. He reminded me of that dude, the driver's dine-ins guy with the crazy ass hair. Thought it was kind of sick. This was just in some train station. This lady had this cute ass dog that was just like staring at us. It's a little blurry, but it's all good. This one was kind of cool. You get Nicole's reflection right here. You can't really see it too much. Maybe if there was like a little bit of like overhead light shining on her, if it was at night. I don't know. Looked kind of cool. And then this is just a train station. I just thought this looked interesting. I just wanted to shoot the train behind us just kind of moving so that way it's blurred a little bit. Because if I were to just shoot it empty, it would look kind of boring. I like the way that the lights were kind of like super bright right here, and it kind of just added to it a little bit. Maybe I'll pull the highlights down on the train a little bit, or I wish it was like a little bit darker just to give it like a little bit more depth, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just not that deep. This one I thought was really cool. It's a little crooked, but I was zone focusing, I believe, even though it's like eye level. So maybe I'm just making that up and it's an excuse and it's crooked. But I don't know. This one's kind of cool. I think this is sick. I think it works better as a full image instead of it being cropped in, but I don't know. Still thought that one was kind of sick. Mirror selfies, film camera, on vacation. Just got to do it. This one I thought was really cool. Just this was from our hotel room in the Lower East Side. You could see or you can't actually see it, but the World Trade Center's right here. I like the silhouette. I thought this one just looked kind of cool. So cool that I shot another one. And yeah, those are pretty much my selects for New York, and I think I shot about 25 rolls collectively. It's like a lot of Tri-X, some Delta 3200, and then a lot of Portra 400. Typically, I don't really shoot a lot of stuff at box speed, so I'm like pushing, pulling. Sometimes I'm officially pulling. Sometimes I just rate it at a lower speed just to get, you know, some overexposure, but I could always go in on that on another video. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Peace.